Hi guys, so I'm just coming to you today with a bit of a catch-up video. So I've done a few of these kind of chat style videos where I've done some on how to deal with a breakup, how to deal with being overwhelmed at work, body image issues that I have suffered with, and tips that I've learned on that journey, setting up a business and the vast amount of failings and successes that I came to along the way. And basically today is just a bit of a catch-up, because in the midst of all of this I'm also doing YouTube yoga classes, and I feel like sometimes on Instagram I just don't have enough time at the moment these days to chat on Insta stories, which is usually where I catch up with you guys. So I was recently on holidays, and after the holiday I just shared a tiny bit about struggling with eating while I was away and being out of routine, and I asked if people would like to know what I'm struggling with at the moment, and people want to know. So basically today is just a little bit of a chat and a catch up. So while I do that, I'm gonna curl my hair because I can't be arsed to wash it. It's actually not dirty, but the curls have come out, so I'm just gonna curl it while I chat. So before I went away to South Africa for like 10 days, left on the 1st, and before I went I was trying to get everything done and put myself maybe under a little bit of pressure to get all my YouTube done, and I have this grant that I'm trying to get for my website. My website was being released the day before I left, and the deadline for my grant is today, I think. So basically I was trying to get all of that done, and obviously running the studio, you know, it's been very busy the last few months, and I'm kind of still learning obviously how to do it all, and you know, still making mistakes, and so I'm quite a sensitive person. I'm very emotional, and I'm very in touch with how I feel, and I've just felt lately that I've given so much time to the studio and to my work that I'm lacking in so many other areas. So my friendships and the time with my family, I feel like my relationships are really starting to take a toll, which was upsetting, and just a hard fact to have to accept, and you know, not really knowing how to change that is a little bit scary. So anyway, so I was just dealing with a lot of that. Because I took on too much, I ended up literally having basically like a breakdown the day before I left. I was just an absolute mess. I had physical pain in my chest. I had I felt what felt like a lump in my throat from the anxiety, and yeah, so basically that's just to fill you in on, like, even though it looks like, you know, everything's great and when things get busy things get easier, it's not really like that. Things get busier, usually things actually get harder. So then when I was away I felt like I was very much, it was the first time I'd vlogged a holiday, and it was, sorry, that wire is making a lot of noise. I felt a lot of the time on the holiday that I was doing things for YouTube, which kind of made me quite anxious again. It just added again to the pressure. I felt like I had been waiting for this holiday for so long, and then when I was there, like, you know, when you have a schedule for YouTube and things that you want to film to share with your followers, and then you get a rainy day, it's like, oh fuck, like, you know, not just like, oh, we get to, you know, we're on holidays, we can sit in and read. It was like, oh fuck, like, that's a day gone, we're gonna have to squeeze this in somewhere else. Like, so it was just a learning thing for me. It's something I need to kind of take into consideration when I think about holidays, really remembering that some of the holidays need to be holidays where I'm not working, which, yeah, so that was something that, even though I really enjoyed doing the YouTube, it was just a new way of holidaying that I might have to work on. And so lucky that I have Connor, who was just so patient with me, never complained about the stupid videos and photos that I kept asking him to take. So yeah. And then the eating thing. So yeah, I found it really hard when I was away. I was getting really anxious about having to eat all the time. And you know, South Africa, it's like dirt cheap, it's insane. So like, you know, a meal that you would pay €100 a head here for would be like, I promise you, like not even €30 a head there. Like, it's just mental. So basically you feel kind of, you know, you want to squeeze all these amazing places in. There's just endless places on the list, and you're getting all these recommendations. And again, for YouTube, I wanted to like get to them all so that I could recommend them and tell you which ones were worth going to. And again, I felt like I was under pressure to be eating, and with the eating came kind of that sluggish feeling. And I again just want to remind you guys that even though I share a lot about, you know, positive body image, that I'm really like a yo-yo. I mean, it can be every half an hour that my mindset changes. It can be day to day, it can be week to week. It's really something that I'm trying so hard to get better at, but I feel being on social media doesn't really help it, because you're constantly putting photos of yourself out there. And this isn't like a pity party or anything, but just that I'm so aware of my body changing, or that I used to look a certain way, and I feel like putting on weight and losing weight is just so obvious to me because there's constant photos. So I'm in this kind of battle between the perfectionist in me that puts myself, and it's terrible, other people in my life to be sorry, I'm fucking this up here. So again, it's something I really am trying to let go of, that need to be perfect, to look perfect, and to let go of that body that I used to have. I found myself, though, on holidays that I was much better at, even though I did struggle, and there was a lot of me that was judging myself, or feeling bad about when I was eating some things, that I still ate the food. So previously I would have perhaps kind of still dieted while I was away, or I would have you know, wanted the bread but not eaten the bread, whereas now, even though I still struggle with it, I definitely got over it and remembered how much more important it is to, you know, while you're on holidays, to really experience everything, and to remember that I'm not the person I was 5 years ago or 4 years ago, that I have learned how to be a lot more passionate about life and to experience life to the fullest, and that is so much more important to me than how I look. It's still a struggle, and it's still part of me, still places importance on, you know, the aesthetic and the control and that sense of being powerful when you can stick to something, can stick to a diet, or can get a result that you want. When I weigh it up, the result physically is just not as important as holidays and eating amazing, breathtaking meals and having dining experiences that I'll always remember. And sharing that with Connor is just so much more important than looking a certain way. And even though I struggle with it, I've become so much better at giving myself little pep talks and just being able to remind myself what's important. I also have learned with my therapy to be, because I'm doing compassion focused therapy, that I am learning how to be more compassionate with myself. Even now, I still sometimes after eating the food will experience guilt. It's becoming less, and I'm definitely learning that, you know, I found myself saying, what would Katie say, who is my therapist? You know, what would she say if I was to say, you know, I ate the bread when I was on holiday, or I had the dessert, I ate a lot when I wasn't even hungry. You know, what would she say? And it was never, God, Molly, you're so weak, or God, Molly, like, do you not care about how you look? Or, you know, she would never say any of those things. Now, maybe it's because I pay her €100 a session, but no, seriously, she would, you know, I'm just learning a lot more about being compassionate with myself. And, you know, even though being healthy and being fit makes me happy, I still did that while I was away. I still did my workouts. I'm sure you saw, if you follow me on Instagram, that I shared kind of my workouts, and that I went to yoga classes. Those are things that, like, people were like, God, man, I can't believe you did that. And I was like, God, like, I couldn't imagine not doing that when I'm away for 10 days. Like, that's part of my life. But then also what's part of my life is loving food and loving special dining experiences. And when I'm home and during the week and getting shit done, that it's not a diet, it's, again, doing what I love, my business, and focusing on that. And if you were focusing on eating and eating food and ice cream and sweets all the time, then it just wouldn't be special anymore. So it's just reminding yourself how to be compassionate, and what is being compassionate, and what is being too hard on yourself, what is being lazy or too easy on yourself. You know, it's just this constant learning curve. Anyway, so I just wanted to share a little bit about that. And I think being with someone as well, it's really helpful that you're open with. Like, Connor is so aware of when I'm feeling a little bit down or upset, and he's so open, you know, he gives me the option. You know, he says, Molly, like, we already ate an amazing meal today. If you are feeling like you're just not hungry, you don't want to, you're not going to enjoy this meal, don't force it. You know, we don't have to go out tonight. We can cancel this reservation. There are plenty of more restaurants and amazing meal experiences. You know, if you don't feel like you're going to enjoy tonight, like, let's stay in and watch Netflix, you know. So I feel like that's super supportive and helpful, and makes me feel at ease. It gives me the space to breathe and really connect with my intuition, rather than hold it in and put a smile on my face. And maybe I'm just really lucky that I have that, or maybe I'm lucky that I'm quite an open person, but I do feel I'm so grateful to have somebody that I can completely be open with, completely not hold back, and not be embarrassed or ashamed to have those thoughts or to have those feelings. Another thing that I've kind of been struggling with, I'm going to move actually to sit down. Another thing that I've struggled a little bit with lately is obviously being online and seeing everything that everyone else is doing. Being a creative person and being in a creative field, I have endless ideas and things that I want to do, and things that I share with you guys, and I'm like, would you be interested in this? And I get so much feedback saying, yeah, please share that, please give us tips on that, please let us know what you think about that. And I just don't have the time. I find that so hard with the studio, and the studio is my business. It's what I'm obviously most passionate about, and the community that I've created is my home. It's my life, and that's my #1 business that I'm trying to build. So that has to come first. And unfortunately at the moment, with it getting busier, not unfortunately, but with it getting busier, I have far less time to put into my YouTube, you know, my blog, and I am doing my best to squeeze it all in, and living at the same time. But I do find it hard. I feel like sometimes that I'm failing myself, that I would just love more hours in the day. And anyway, that's just something small I'm struggling with. But I'm gonna finish with just two things. I am gonna try and make time, trying to find the time to read. I have all these bloody amazing books and I'm so excited to read, and I want to share with you guys, you know, my 5 top business books, spiritual books, fiction books, you know, women in business books. But I just don't have the time at the moment to kind of do a analysis of them all and a description and feedback and cons and pros and all this. So anyway, I'm just going to show you the book that I got delivered this week. Is Smart Women Finish Rich by David Bach. And it's an investment book for women. It gives you the steps to achieve financial security and basically funding your dreams. So I think it's pretty exciting. I think it's kind of weird that it's just for women, but I do actually like that it's inspired by his grandmother, Rose Bach, who came from nothing and basically started investing on her own with like no help from her husband, like with $10 I think, and by the time she died at like 94 had made $1 million from her investment. So I just think that is cool, and the fact that he dedicated the book to Rose Bach, yeah, I just think it's going to be good. So I'm gonna give this a go and let you know how I get on. So in my last chat style video, I basically filled you guys in on my really exciting news that I was doing a teacher training with Erin and Steph. The day that I released the video and I put it out there, I found out that the training had been cancelled. It was a bit of a wave of emotions. There was a few things that I felt. A weird feeling was relief for a few reasons. One was that I was relieved because even though I went for it and I was so excited about it, the fact that I was in Dublin was a bit of a con for me, and I think I mentioned that in my video. Being in Dublin means that I'm very much still going to be working at the studio, maybe not going into the studio, but definitely when things go wrong, I would have, which they do on a weekly basis. Sometimes there are some weeks that nothing goes wrong, and then other weeks loads of things go wrong. So I knew that even though I was going to be training all day every day for a month, that I would be very much not separated from the studio and still very much running the studio. So there was a sense of relief, because I thought maybe it just wasn't meant to be, because I know I'm a bit of a control freak, I'm a perfectionist, and I'm constantly on my emails. Like, I don't ever wait more than an hour to respond to people on my email, and I just would have found that really hard to separate myself. And I was kind of thinking the fact that I was in Dublin, I would save on, you know, accommodation, and it was cheaper than doing one abroad, and also I'd save on having to get a manager for the studio. But actually I thought I actually felt a little bit relieved, because also it was my second choice. It wasn't Dylan's training, and even though everyone thought I was a little bit crazy, they were like, you must be so upset, I know how excited you were for it. My reaction was, I feel this has happened for a reason. I feel like if I had got an email from Dylan saying, because I was on the wait list for Dylan's training in June in Czech Republic, if I got an email saying you've been accepted, do you want the space, and I had to turn it down because I was doing a training with Erin and Steph, I would be kicking myself. Like, I'd be raging. So there was kind of a bit of me that thought the universe is doing this for a reason. Dylan's gonna get in touch. And everyone was like, oh god, like what if he doesn't? Molly's gonna be heartbroken. Anyway, so I kind of put it back to the back of my mind. I was like, you know, I did a bit of research online and other trainers. I got in touch with, or trainings, I got in touch with Kat Mafan and asked her. I never heard back from her until, anyway, so basically on Friday morning I was working at 7 in the morning. I got into the studio, the usual 6:25 or whatever, sat there, checked my emails, and I got an email from Dylan with an acceptance email. So basically the email was like, look, there are 15 people on the wait list. Whoever pays first basically gets the spot. And I was like, oh my god, fuck. I was like, oh my god. So this is at 6:45. Clients are starting to come into the studio. I was like, oh my god, okay, so the training's in June, 11th of June till 11th of July. Connor kind of mentioned that maybe not to book anything for July. My birthday's this week. I don't know what I'm getting for my birthday, but that maybe we're doing something in July. So don't book anything, because I'm always booking holidays. So I was like, shit. If I pay the deposit now for Dylan's training, and then I tell Connor when he's woken up and he's like, okay, you just ruined your birthday present, like that's when we're meant to be going away, we're doing whatever it is, I'd feel awful. So I was like texting Connor at 6:45 in the morning. He turns his phone off when he's sleeping, so there was no answer from him. It didn't even deliver. I was like, oh my god, Connor, please wake up. When you wake up, can you let me know if these dates suit, and can I go? You know, and I was just like, kept texting him. I was like, I think I'm just gonna pay the deposit anyway, you know, blah blah blah. He woke up at 5 to 7. My class started at 7, and he was like, go, those dates are fine, go. I then realized that it wasn't just the deposit, that you had to pay in full. So I was like, oh my god, this is nearly 7 grand. So I then started transferring my savings at the front of the studio, like people like coming in, and I was like, oh my god, shit, transferred all the money and paid it. And basically on the 11th of June I'm going to the Czech Republic for a month to train with Dylan Werner, and I'm going to be a 500-hour certified yoga teacher. And I am actually, I've kind of processed it. Firstly, I'm just on a high still from the fact that everything happens for a reason. I've always been quite a believer in that, and this is just another reminder that no matter how much you want something, if it doesn't work out, that it's bringing you down a path you're meant to be on. It just wasn't for you. No matter how sure you are that it was meant for you, it wasn't for you. And the other thing is how amazing that this was my #1 goal that I put on my blog and shared in my video a few weeks ago, or in January. I wrote down I want to do a training with Dylan, and I've been reading Tony Robbins and just the power of visualization, and I've been visualizing it, I've been talking about it, I've been putting words and images into this dream and goal, and it has come true against all odds. It was fully booked. Dylan's trainings are like one of the most popular in the world, and I managed to get a spot, and I in the meantime had booked into another training. Like, it's just insane. I just think it's fucking cool, and I think the power of visualization and writing things down, and the power of belief as well. Like, don't limit yourself, don't give up even when things seem that they're not going right. Like, just keep visualizing and keep believing that if it's meant for you, that it will work out. Because some of my goals or my dreams for 2019 might not come true. Doesn't mean I give up on them now, or doesn't mean I stop believing in them. But if they don't work out, that means they weren't meant to be. But if I keep visualizing and I keep believing and I keep working toward it, then there's a good ass chance that they'll come to fruition. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Good, I'm just videoing. Yeah, I'm on video 2.
Good, well good. What's it on?
My first one was, I just did my pennies haul.
Yeah.
And then this one is
like a light catch up and filling in on kind of how I struggled with some of my eating while I was away, and
So now that I filled in my sister on everything that I'm telling you guys, if there are things that I go through that you guys go through and that we can share that, and that I can share my experiences or tips or tricks or whatever it is, then always feel free to message me. If you see me mention something on Instagram and say I'm actually really interested in that, I don't know whether you guys are interested in the things that I do, so it's always good just to get a bit of a heads up if you guys want more or to hear more about things. So definitely the book thing seems to be a big one, so I'm gonna do my best to carve out more time to read, even though with this training that's coming up I have to actually start studying now, so I'm drowning, but I'm just so excited about it all anyway, so it won't even feel like work. I'm just thrilled to be doing it all. So yeah, see you guys.